Hey guys, it's Jo and welcome back to my channel. And as you guys can probably tell by the title or thumbnail, today I will be sharing with you guys the birth story of my little baby bestie in my world, Liam.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. What a wonderful world.
But before I get into it, I plan on doing a Q&A soon, but I'm not sure if you guys would like to see that from me. Please let me know in the comment section down below, along with any questions that you guys may have for me. Also, if you're not following me already on Instagram, please follow me. I always have that link down below in the description box, and I do plan on being more consistent there as well. That is one of my goals for 2018. So follow me on there so we can interact more. So my son Liam is 2.5, almost 3 years old, and I just can't believe it. Time is flying by. But I do remember the day of his birth just like it was yesterday. And I wanted to share this story with you guys because I feel like his birth, and not even just the day of his birth, but just being a mother, it just really has changed my life in so many ways, as I'm sure a lot of you other mothers can relate. But yeah, this story is so special to me, so I just wanted to share it with you guys. But before I go into the story of how Liam was born, there are some things that I need to share with you guys, just so you guys can get a better understanding of why I had to go through the procedure the way that I did. In December 2008, I was in a really bad car accident where I had multiple fractures to my face, and also I broke my spine. But thank God the break happened where it did, because if it was an inch higher, I could have become quadriplegic according to my neurosurgeon. So with that break, I had to have a lower lumbar fusion. I had to take a bone graft, a rod, and 5 screws and actually fuse my spine back together. But I don't want to go too deep into it because I do plan on doing a Draw My Life video, but I just have to let you guys know so you can get a better understanding. But I'm just so grateful that I'm able to take care of my son, carry him, to even just give birth to him is just such a blessing that I'm just so grateful for. I really feel that God gave me another chance at life with that whole situation. So Liam was born on July 30th, 2015. Because of the trauma to my back and all the equipment that I have back there, my doctors, my neurosurgeon, and also my OBGYN suggested that instead of pushing, to just deliver him cesarean. But the problem is the same exact spot where they inject the epidural needle, that is where my rods and screws and everything is, in that same exact spot. So epidural was not an option for me. So it was a planned cesarean that would be under general anesthesia. The week before Liam's birth, I was in and out of the hospital. I had really high blood pressure, and my doctor suspected that I was high risk with preeclampsia. But they wanted to keep Liam inside of me as long as possible so that he would have all of his strength for when the procedure happened. Because I would be under general anesthesia, of course, some of that would be going to the baby as well. So that was the whole issue, was just making sure that I was healthy, that I was not going to have a seizure or my baby would have a seizure, just so that we can get him out in time safely with the general anesthesia procedure. So that was the week before his birth. I was literally in and out probably 3-4 times of the hospital to check my levels and just to make sure that everything was okay. The night before Liam's birth, I was not able to eat anything until we were gonna have the procedure. And I was scheduled to have the procedure at 4 p.m. the next day. All right, guys, so I'm pregnant, I'm starving, and I was not able to eat or drink anything. So by the time we got to the hospital, I'm like starving, I'm so thirsty, and still can't have anything. Because, I was going to be under general anesthesia, they just wanted to make sure that I was, clear. So in the hospital where I delivered, there's like a section before the mothers go in, I guess, to give birth. So it's the waiting room, and then another separate waiting area with the mothers where they're all hooked up to machines and everything, and then the actual operation or delivery rooms. So first it was just my husband and I in there, and my mom was in the waiting room. I had to find my vein so that they can start me on the IV and whatever other medications they needed to give me before the actual procedure. So I'm sitting there and they couldn't find any of my veins. It was so frustrating. They literally stuck me like 4, maybe 5 times in my hand, in my wrist, and they said because I was dehydrated, but hello, I couldn't eat or drink anything from the night before. I was just so frustrated that they couldn't do this procedure earlier for me. But anyway, they brought in like other nurses to try to find it, a specialist. Like, it was so bad, and it was painful too, and I'm very emotional and I'm just very nervous at this point. So I just started weeping, like silent weeping, like not hysterical crying, but just strong crying, but silently. So I'm just like just crying really bad. And I don't know who they sent in. I think it was like one of their top anesthesiologists, something like that. She came and she was like, you guys are making her nervous, like let me find it. She was like, don't worry honey, we're gonna find it. And guys, I was at this point, I was just like, you know what, forget this. I'm just gonna give birth in my bathtub naturally. If you guys can't find my vein, how are you gonna be able to cut my baby out safely? Like, forget this. Even though I didn't vocalize any of that, I was this close. Like, I just was like, forget it, natural, I don't trust you people. It was, I was just really, really scared. But she came in and she was just very like calming to me, and she was able to find my vein on the first try. So I was like, thank you, Jesus. So they gave me the IV and whatever other medications were in there. I honestly don't know. I was freaking out. And then right away they sent me to the other room. But it was so sad at this point because with C-sections or natural births, like, you're allowed to have someone in the delivery room, and I wasn't, because it was under general anesthesia and I would be knocked out. I guess as a precaution, they just don't allow anyone in there. Your spouse, no one. So it was just really sad for me and scary to go through this, you know, alone. With thank God I had a great team of nurses and doctors, but it was just really sad and scary. And I remember just saying bye to my husband, just again crying. And I mean, I can only imagine how he felt too, like not being able to see his child born. That must have been really heartbreaking for him. So there's all these emotions going through. So I go into the room, put me on the table, and they're moving really fast, because once that anesthesia goes into my veins, they want to get the baby out as soon as possible. So they're literally doing all the prep work until they're about to slice me open. So sorry guys if this is TMI, but they shaved me, they put the iodine to where they were gonna cut me, and this was the scariest part. They put a mask on me, and like I told you guys, I had to have reconstructive surgery on my face. I mean, I can breathe, a little bit difficult for me. Plus I was crying, so I just had all that mucus built up in my nose and like my throat, I guess. So they had to put the mask on me, and I'm like, I can't breathe. And like the doctors, they're like busy running around, and I had a nurse next to me, but the doctor's not paying attention to me, the one who's telling me what's going on. So I'm like freaking out, and he's like, relax. And I'm like, I can't breathe. He goes, yes, you can. I was like, no, I can't breathe. The mask is too tight. He said, no, it's tight because we only want you to breathe in the oxygen from the machine, the clean air. So thank God this RN, Janine, I'll never forget her name, she went next to me and she was like, I'm gonna hold your hand through the whole thing. I was like, oh, thank you. Just please make sure that, I'm breathing. And she was like, I'm here, don't worry. So I put the mask back on. And then the doctor tells me that they're gonna inject the anesthesia, but that they have to hold my throat tightly so that I don't choke on it. So I'm like, oh, okay. So first I feel like I can't breathe because of the mask, and then on top of that, the anesthesia coming up. So this is just a panic attack waiting to happen. So I have the mask on me, and then I feel the doctor's like strong fingers like holding on to my throat. So I'm like, and then I just pass out. And yeah, pretty much that is what I remember before giving birth. And another thing, I really wish that I would have been able to record, Liam being born, just the actual process of, even if it was a C-section, just to have that on camera of how he came out of me and into this world. But because it was a surgery, along with no one being allowed in the room, no video, no cameras, so it's just, again, another hard part about it. But I'm just grateful though that the doctors were kind enough to offer to take my cell phone, so at least they were able to snap a few pictures of when he was first born. And then moments later, I wake up and I'm in the same room that I was in before, the waiting area with the beds and everything. So I wake up and my husband's there and he's holding Liam. And I'm all blurry at this time and all I want to do is see him, like, is he okay? Is everything all right? And the nurse is there and she reassures me that everything was fine. The procedure went fine and my son is healthy and he's just a little bit sleepy from the anesthesia, but he's okay. So I'm just so grateful, and of course I want to see him. So they place him in my arms and then I just start crying. And I'm like, I can't see him. I couldn't see my son because my vision was so blurry, and it was like, oh, I was just crying because I just wanted to see him, you know? Like 9 months of imagining what he's gonna look like. Is he gonna look like his father? Is he gonna look like me? And yeah, I could not see him. So I was so frustrated yet again. But then I asked the nurse to take a picture, and she took a couple for me. And honestly, the first time I really saw Liam's face was through the picture. I don't know if it's the lighting or whatever it was, but I was able to see my phone more clear than him in person. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but that's what happened for me. And then around an hour later, my vision cleared up and I was just able to see him and hold him and just love on him. And I'm just so grateful to God for his life. He is just the biggest blessing that I have, and I'm just so grateful for him. And I'm just so thankful that God chose me to be his mom. Like, it's just such an honor and a privilege. Hi, baby. He's over. That's it.
Ready? Ready? Lena, no, you can't do it too.
So yeah, that is pretty much Liam's birth story. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please be sure to leave it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you all in my next one. Bye, guys.